Warning. The following video contains strong language that some viewers may find offensive or disturbing.
What seemed nice when you were a child, but when you grew up turned out to not be so nice. Eating a whole cake in one sitting. It was the dream. I should have learned from Matilda that it was a nightmare. My whole life, cakes were reserved for birthdays and special occasions. See a yummy cake in the store? Maybe you can get it on your birthday in 2 months. A couple of weeks ago I realized that I am a full-grown adult and I can buy cake whenever the hell I want to for whatever reason or no reason at all. It has been a good couple of weeks. Moon shoes. Those fuckers almost killed me like 20 times. But I loved them when I was child and was oblivious to just how dangerous they are. Truth. Also incredibly embarrassing when I told my whole 3rd grade class I was going to get hover boots for my birthday only to find out they were just fucking mini trampolines you strap to your feet. Getting mail. If available, get the delivery notifications for mail. USPS has it. That sends you an email every day of what mail you are getting. That way you can know when it is time to pack the car and head to the woods to avoid those bills. I used to love to play office and shuffle around papers etc. like I was at a job. Now that I actually do work in an office. Not so much fun lol. I used to play schoolteacher as a kid who thought it would be the most fun in the world. I've been doing it for several years for real now. And while I do enjoy it, it's not the same kind of fun. To remind myself, I keep hanging on my classroom wall a photograph of the 6-year-old me explaining something on a child's blackboard. I swam in some bodies of water as a kid that seemed fine, but looking back, adult me would never get in that water. Edit, spelling. Just the other day I drove past a lake I used to play in as a kid in Florida. It's more like a swamp. No inflow, no outflow, just a stagnant pond, swamp. It's a miracle we didn't die of brain amoeba. Unlimited ice cream with no one telling me to stop before my stomach hurts. My most adult moments so far, other than getting married, divorced, married again, and having 2 children, is when I decided that I'm an adult goddammit and I can buy a chocolate shake and a banana split from Dairy Queen if I want to. I now know my dairy limit. High heels. It's not that they're not nice. Just not practical for my daily life. I always wanted to grow up faster so I could steal some of my mom's really pretty heels. I thought they looked like the prettiest, classiest things and couldn't wait to wear some. Oh, my god. The first time I wore a pair, I about wrecked my knee and twisted my ankle. Never mind the absolute agony my heels were in by the end of the day. Fuck that noise. Oh, I went a long time without owning a pair after I broke my toe. I just bought black stilettos to practice dancing with them. They're so pretty I wear them sitting down or in bed and just stare at them. Walking with them? Lol, no thanks. As a child, I loved looking at the lobsters in the grocery store. I thought they sold them to be pets. Imagine my horror when I found out they are sold to be boiled alive and eaten. My dad brought home lobsters one time. As a kid, it was a magical day. We selected the lobsters, brought them home, and got to play with the forbidden creatures from the grocery store for a while on the kitchen floor. Then, we were sent out back. Because it was the 90s and that's what happened as a kid. And when we came back, dinner was ready. It took longer than I'd like to admit to connect those dots. Getting dizzy. We had an uncle who was tall and strong and would spin us around one by one. We couldn't get enough. I remember after my spin, I'd just laugh as I couldn't keep my balance and watch the world spin. Now, I avoid getting dizzy like the plague. A popular girl complimented me on my shoes. My mom had just gotten them for me from Old Navy and I thought they were really cool. Were they really expensive? She asked. Were they like? She dropped her voice, $20. I smiled back, thinking it was cool that she must be responsible enough to buy her own clothes. 'Cause I certainly didn't in grade 7. I nodded and said, they were $19.99. Yeah. She smiled and walked away and I was so excited to have been complimented by a person who was not only popular but also a girl. That I wrote about it on my Harry Potter calendar and told my mom that the cool kids liked my shoes. It was earlier this year that I thought back on this nice memory and went, wait. A similar thing happened to me in 6th grade. My mom got me these really cool shoes from Payless that almost looked like the skater shoes the popular kids wore. One day a boy I had crush on complimented my cool new shoes, then noticed my shoe brand, which just so happened to be B.U.M. Equipment shoes, and made fun of me ruthlessly for being a bum in Payless shoes and made me cry. I never wore the shoes again, and for my birthday that year begged my newly divorced single mom of 4 for $80 etnies that she went broke to buy me. Didn't dawn on me until years later that he would have only known they were a Payless brand by his parents having shopped there too. Kids are assholes. Living on a farm. I begged and begged my mom to buy a farm and have horses, etc. I have never even liked to literally get my hands dirty, though a horse would be nice. I was cured when someone moved into the neighboring farm and everything they owned was dirty, and the kids always had to help out with something on the farm. I grew up on a farm. I had a hard time doing chores outside as a kid with my OCD. But now that I'm an adult, I love the farm life and everything that comes with it. Going on long outings or weekend trips to the beach or lake. As a kid, I didn't have to worry about anything. Just take my damn self and my bathing suit and have a blast. Eat when the food was ready and get in the car and pass out on the way home and wake up the next morning in your bed somehow. Now, as a parent, you gotta do all the things. The packing, shipping, cleaning, unpacking, cooking, carrying the kids from the car to the house. It's exhausting. Never thought about that as a kid. And hey, I'll keep doing it because my kids have fun and so do we, but man, there's a lot of shit that goes with those trips, haha. Yep, my husband is a big fan of camping. We have a few spots we hit up for a week or two each year. Boy, did I get a huge reality check once we started camping with our children. It got to be so overwhelming and exhausting for me that one day I simply refused to do it anymore. We still camp though, but now my husband does all of the work, planning, shopping, prepping, cooking, cleaning. It's a great system for us. He likes doing it in the wild. And I get an actual vacation. I grew up in an extremely religious community that I only later found out had a lot of cult-like features. There were a lot of things that I thought were normal or even kinda great when I was a kid. Turns out television screen isn't actually the devil's device that it uses to enter your body. Holy shit, are we siblings? My mom told my ex that the scary movie she brought over on DVD would open a portal to hell and allow demons to enter her home. So we weren't allowed to watch it. Edit mobile. I got a ton of questions, so I figured I would clarify. My mom is Christian, and fully believes that media is a gateway to evil. Lucifer lead the music while in heaven. And he still uses music today to influence people. The movie was Amityville Horror with Ryan Reynolds. We would have watched it in my room so she wouldn't have actually seen the movie. Not that that changes anything. A lot of you mentioned you have moms, aunts that are the same way with Harry Potter and Pokemon. That just made me laugh because you mean actual magic and pocket monsters, right? My mom walked in on me playing Pokemon on the PC at 16 and we had a long conversation about how that still wasn't acceptable behavior under her roof. Snowstorms. As a kid you're all, yay no school. And you get bundled up and go outside and make snow angels and have snowball fights and go sledding and run around the whole goddamn day and come inside and mom has a grilled cheese sandwich and bowl of tomato soup. As an adult, oh fuck, I have to shovel the driveway and the goddamn sidewalk. And then having to reshovel the end of the driveway when the plows come by and cover it up. And if you go out in your car there's a bunch of shitheads who only scrape the snow off the front windshield and the others who ignore the fact that road conditions aren't suitable for going 80 fucking mph anymore. The desire to be famous. I never understood why kids wanted that. I knew by like age 9 being famous sucks. Your privacy is taken away. Nosy busybodies entertain themselves gossiping about your private business. And you're recognized everywhere you go. You can't just be a regular person. I've shared this story before. But when I was around 10 years old I was sleeping over at my best friend Juan's house. We usually stayed up really late playing and would sleep in until like 11 or 12. Which I loved because I rarely got to do that at my house. At about 8 a.m. his dad comes into the room and tells me to get dressed because he needed my help. His dad was a big drinker. So either his breath reeked of beer from last night or he had one for breakfast. Either way he was a bit buzzed. He tells me he needs my help picking out a toy for Juan as a surprise and we were going to drive to Walmart. So we get in the car and drive down to the Walmart, which was like 10 minutes away from his house. It was a pretty awkward ride and he starts asking me questions to make small talk. Like how I was like school and if I had a girlfriend yet. We get to the Walmart and he takes me to the toy section and asks me what I think Juan would like. I walk around and see Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. Juan and I were huge Star Wars fans and even went to go see Empire Strikes Back in theaters when it was re-released. So I knew he would like it. He buys the toy and then we have another awkward car ride back. He thanks me for helping and asks me to keep it a secret. I changed into my pajamas again and tried to go back to sleep. But about 10 minutes later his dad comes in and surprises him with the toy and gives me a wink. At the time I thought it was such a nice thing for his dad to do for him. But years later I found that the reason we went on this mission to get the toy was because he had been really drunk a couple of nights before and hit Juan. So he wanted to make it up to him. As far as I know that was the only time that ever happened. But still made the whole thing weirder than it was. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and hit the notification button. See you next time.